Now that you've completed totems, you're ready to move on to your first boss fight. Through the door that you were trying to open in the last encounter, you'll enter a new room, and this is where the War Priest encounter takes place. Before we begin, here's a map of the encounter. I'll reference it periodically throughout the explanation, so feel free to screenshot it if you need to. When you first enter the room, you'll see there are 3 pillars and 3 plates. Each pillar corresponds to the plate behind it. To start the encounter, you'll have one person stand on each plate. Then the boss, the War Priest, will spawn in. Kill him to complete the encounter. But how do you kill him? First, split your team into 3 groups. 2 in the middle, 2 on the left, and 2 on the right. Assign one person from each of these groups to be in charge of a plate, and then assign 2 people who are not in charge of a plate to be in charge of killing Taken Knights. After the encounter has started, everyone needs to step off of their plates. Avoid touching these plates again unless you have to. Each team will clear adds in their corresponding section. So if you're in left, you kill adds on left, right, middle, middle. Once all the adds are killed, 3 orange bar Revenant Knights will spawn in. Once all 3 of them are dead, you'll see a text on your screen say glyph reading sequence started. Upon this happening, those assigned to a plate will go stand next to their plates. The middle plate will start glowing. The person assigned to the middle plate needs to step on it and look up at the pillars in front of them. You can see right here the difference between glowing and non-glowing, so keep this in mind for the next part. The person in the middle needs to step on their plate and look up to see which pillar is glowing. So if the middle has looked up and they see that the right pillar is glowing, they'll step off their plate and the right person will jump on. Then the right person looks at the middle and the left. If middle is glowing, the person in the middle jumps on their plate, and then there's only one plate left, so whatever plate is left over, the person will stand on their plate. If the person in the middle looks up and neither the left or the right are glowing, that means the middle pillar is glowing, but you can't see it because it's on the other side. So if it's the middle, you need to step off the plate and then step back on it to begin the sequence. Once the third person in this glyph sequence stands on their plate, damage phase will begin. Whoever steps on the last plate will gain a red aura buff called the Brand of the Initiate ×3. Only people in the aura can do damage, so everyone needs to run up into that aura to do damage. But the person with the aura will get a timer on the left side of their screen. They need to start counting down once it reaches 10 seconds. They do this because you need to extend the timer. In order to extend the timer, you need a person to go kill a Taken Knight that spawns in one of 3 spots. One will spawn in the middle in front of the middle pillar, one on the right next to the right plate, and one on the left next to the left plate. If you look at the diagram, you can see where they all spawn. The Knights spawn as soon as damage phase starts, so one of the people assigned to killing Taken Knights needs to go run and find and kill that Taken Knight before they go to the damage aura where everyone else is. Just like the totems encounter, when you kill a Taken Knight, it will drop the buff Brand Stealer at its feet. Picking up this buff allows you to steal the red aura buff Brand the Initiate. Once the first Taken Knight is dead, that needs to be called out, and the other person who is assigned to kill the Taken Knight needs to leave the red aura and go find where a new Taken Knight has spawned. The second Taken Knight will spawn as soon as the first Taken Knight is dead. While the second person is killing the Taken Knight, the person who has the Brand Stealer needs to wait for their first teammate who is counting down the seconds to get to about 2 seconds before they steal the buff from them. Once they steal it, they'll gain Brand of the Initiate ×2. You can only take the aura 2 times, so the first person will have Brand of the Initiate 3, and then the second person will have 2, and then the third person will have 1. Once the first person steals the brand, a timer will start on their screen as well, and they will now be in charge of counting down the seconds for that second guy who kills the Taken Knight and who's going to come steal the brand from them. Then the second Brand Stealer needs to take the buff again at about 2 seconds to continue the buff one more time. Once you've completely run out of Brand of the Initiate, the boss will activate a wipe mechanic. The Taken Blight above the boss's head will glow and kill everything in sight. So the entire team needs to stand behind the closest pillar to be safe from this wipe mechanic. If you look at the diagram, you can see what the safe pillars are. After that, you rinse and repeat everything else until you've done enough damage to kill the boss. Note that at the end of each damage phase, you need to use a single pillar to save yourselves from dying. If you break all 3 pillars, you only have one more chance to kill the boss because there are no more safe spots. Make sure everyone hides behind the same pillar, because if one person goes and hides behind another pillar, the boss will destroy both of the pillars that you're standing behind, and you'll lose a damage phase opportunity. Note that once a pillar is destroyed, it can't glow like it did before. So in order to figure out the sequence, you'll see a flame just like this instead of a glowing pillar. Once you've done enough damage to the boss, you'll kill him and the encounter will be over. I recommend using Linear Fusions and Divinity for this encounter, but make sure whoever's running Divinity is not in charge of killing Taken Knights. Well, now you're one step closer to completing the King's Fall raid, so congratulations on completing your first boss encounter. If you found this video useful or entertaining, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like down below. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day, Guardians.